Great people, welcome back to another episode of Conversations Unleashed. It is me, Michael Bonner here, and this is your bi-weekly uplifting, empowering, just space for you to get some love. How are you doing in this new year? We have a new president of Bitcoin. Last time I checked, is over $100,000. The world is shifting and changing and moving, and y'all, we're in this new age and era, and that's why I'm excited about today's topic, because I have found out that in education, one of the biggest things that people struggle with, and even I fight with at times, I feel like it's a big dragon, right, is how to get kids to grow academically and emotionally. And in my 12 years of teaching, I've come across just different nuances and different themes that I really feel that have been very impactful. And let me be very clear with you. The reason why I think this is an episode that everyone needs to listen to, whether you are in education or not in education, or just the process of learning, y'all, it is because the way our brains are perceiving information now is like none other. We have never been in this moment in space and time where you can get the amount of information that's infiltrating us at one time. And it's coming constantly, and it's not stopping, right? For example, I was looking at a PDF the other day, and instead of just going through the PDF page by page, I decided to put the PDF into ChatGPT and say, give me a summary of this in a paragraph. Right? And immediately it filtered through all the noise that I needed and gave me exactly what I was looking for. So with all of that that's happening, what does the human brain look like, and how can we make sure that kids and adults are learning in an efficient way? How can you make sure the people in your company are processing the information initiatives you're trying to roll out in a faster way? Same thing in education. Today we're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. So buckle up, get yourself ready to rock and roll, and let's have some fun this week. So you know me, I love this platform that I have had an idea to create because I get to be frank with you. I don't have to necessarily be political and have all the cute words and cliche statements. I get a chance to make sure that I say something that's powerful. And while I'm here with this oatmeal, y'all, I have a new Bonneville hoodie on. You see it, the oatmeal color. I love it. Just make sure you check out my website. They'll be updated soon for merchandise if you want to stay warm. But let's get into it. What are the key ingredients you need to make sure that kids are learning? What are the main things? Now, I have this current speech I'm doing right now called The Audacity to Believe, and shout out to my people in Hamilton I was speaking to last week. I have a methodology for that, but I'm talking about specifically getting kids to grow and getting kids to learn. So I want to lay that out for you. And I think whether you are an educator, whether you are a leader, a CEO, an entrepreneur, whether you are a parent, I think if you can define these three things, it will put the human brain in the right arena to make sure learning can happen. And this is coming from 12 years of experience. This is coming from 7 years of keynote speaking. This is coming from just experience in life. Mark Twain once said, I never let my schooling interrupt my education. So I'm pulling in all these data points, and I want to filter and just flow through these to start. So let's go with the first one, all right? And that is the environment, all right? That is the environment. I think it is time for us to understand that the traditional classroom just doesn't work, right? That it is completely okay to have different elements in class that makes it a warm space where kids want to be a part of. People love to come to the Ron Clark Academy, and one of the main reasons why is because our school physical makeup is so different. We still have schools right now that have an issue with teachers having smell goods inside of their classroom, right? We're still in that point in time now where we're fussing and fighting over small, minute, just dumb things. And I think if you can focus on what does your environment look like and what does your environment feel like. Now, my classroom can glow in the dark and it's painted with this unique theme. I don't even think you have to go to that particular level. I think that there's something called addition by subtraction. What are some things you can start deleting or adding to your room that will make it feel more homey? For example, at our school, we do not have bulletin boards, and I love it. Think about this, y'all. The education system, we're so behind that we are having teachers stay after school to put bulletin boards up as if we're not in the digital age. Your school can create a social media account right now on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook and do a weekly update of what's happening in the school. People will buy into it. Don't let you start having more traction and followers and likes. And before you know it, your page can now be monetized and that money can now go forth to the school. We are behind. I want to make sure I stamp that idea. Michael Bonner probably said this first. How come there aren't schools, most of schools, who are creating social media pages that would therefore be their display of classwork, and at least people can follow along with the school, watch the kids grow up, and different things like that. We need to start rethinking our environments, right? Even down to classrooms not being able to be painted. Why not? Why? How come a classroom can't shift its own color and have a local artist come in and build a mural inside of the classroom where a teacher wants to be at and accepted? We already have accepted flexible seating, right? We have accepted, different ways that kids can sit, but come on, y'all. This is 2025. Right? They were having these arguments when I graduated from Elizabeth City State University in 2013. We need to modernize how we're operating with these students. TikTok shut down over the weekend. There were people crying because of lack of money and loss of money. There were people calling 911. There was so much going on because people are addicted to the fast pace of life now. And if we want our children to buy into it, you got to change some stuff up. And I think the environment is one place. Not only just your physical elements, but also the emotional energy within the room. If we're going to be honest, some people's energy is so nasty, you can feel it from a mile away. And I will dare to say to my bosses, leaders, CEOs, CFOs, to my C-suite leaders, to my educators, superintendents, people can feel you before you get there, right? I like that quote that either you're the thermostat or you're the thermometer, right? You set the tone and the energy in the space that you go into. I'm not the best at it, but if you ask most people, when I step into a space, it's a different energy that comes in there because I'm trying to bring some light and love. And I think that is an element that we really need to hone in on. How do we do that here at our school? Well, there's a rule. There's a rule that says you must play music when kids are coming in and when they're leaving. Why? Because music helps set the tone and the energy of a space. I don't believe that, Mr. Bonner. Well, why do you think they play certain songs when the night is starting at the club and when they play certain songs when the night is ending at the club, right? They're not playing the cha-cha slide, baby, at the end of the club. You want to know why? At the end of the night. Because they try to make sure that the mood is set, right? So couples can be reunited and reignited, right? With passion. Right? So how come in the education system and in our businesses during these boring staff meetings and during these dry classrooms, we don't have music just to get the energy going at the beginning to set the tone, right? There's a first thermodynamic law that says energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. So I'm a firm advocate of that. How you're talking, your tonality, how you are greeting people as they come in, your body language moving around during the staff meeting and even inside of the classroom, all that plays to the environment. And if you can make an environment that's like where people want to be at, oh my gosh, you're onto something. You're onto something. And I need to probably build something out from that. All right. Now let's go to number 2. What's the second thing you need? Is relationships. In my first book, Give Up or Get Up, How I Almost Gave Up on Teaching, is on Amazon. You can check it out if you want to. I talk about my philosophy of relationships before content. And we have over-intellectualized this concept, and we have made it way more difficult than what it has to be. And let's just nip that in the bud right here. People learn from people that they can relate to. People bring in and accept content more when you can make it relatable to them. How do you make content relatable to someone, or how can you make information relatable to someone? You must know the person that you're instructing or leading. If you don't know the person that you're instructing or leading, you therefore cannot lead them and make sure they're the most efficient, which will make your company or your school or your classroom more efficient. And we have somehow, some way, have stigmatized and put a negative connotation around building relationships with people from all of the diaspora. So I give people this a great example. In Atlanta, Georgia, and in North Carolina, I am one heck of a teacher. You want to know why? because I understand the demographic of students that I'm teaching. If you put me inside of Hawaii, if you throw me inside of Texas, if you throw me inside of California, if you throw me inside of South Dakota, certain areas where the demographics of students shift drastically, there will be an adjustment period for me because I do not understand the culture. I do not understand the slang or vernacular. I do not understand the community culture and nuances. All of those things play a factor into getting kids to learn. Here's a good example. One point in time, I was telling my kids, I was using the phrase of, hey, y'all, let's get ready to work. Let's rock and roll. Hey, y'all, hey, y'all, that's the country in me. Until I started doing some research and I found out that the kids don't say y'all anymore. They say chat. Hey, chat. You know why they say hey, chat for those that are listening? Because streamers, when they're communicating with them, they're saying hey, chat. And what I have discovered is when I start to change that in my class, I'm like, all right, chat, let's go. They laughed in the beginning. They were hollering, laughing in the beginning because they're like, what is my teacher talking about? How is Mr. Bonner saying, hey, chat? How does he know about that, right? But that relational piece made them perk their ears up a little bit more, right? They don't